Hello, good morning everybody. This is Dr. Sunita Patnaik and already we started with this chapter, Molecular Basis of Inheritance, and in the previous chapter, in the previous lecture, we have discussed about the structure of DNA and different evidence-based experiments which proves that DNA is the only genetic material present in the living cell. Now, today in this lecture, we are going to study about DNA replication. Now, what is DNA replication? The process in which a DNA molecule produces exact copy or replica of itself is called replication of DNA. When cell reproduces, DNA duplicates. And the two major functions which DNA carries is heterocatalytic and autocatalytic. Now, what is heterocatalytic? Heterocatalytic means synthesis of chemical molecules, chemical compounds like RNA, protein, etc. These are known as heterocatalytic. Autocatalytic means synthesis of itself, which means DNA makes again one more DNA which is a copy of itself. And this process is known as replication. So replication is a unique property, a process which is observed only in DNA because DNA is able to replicate. So replication of DNA takes place only once in the cell cycle. If you remember in the 11th standard, we have studied cell cycle, isn't it? No, in the cell cycle, the replication of DNA takes place in the S phase, that is the synthetic phase of interphase. So, DNA replication is a semi-conservative replication. So, there are different proofs of semi-conservative nature, and one of the proof was being exhibited by Michelson and Stahl. Michelson and Stahl in 1958 they performed an experiment by a technique called equilibrium density gradient centrifugation technique. I am repeating it. Equilibrium density gradient centrifugation technique. And in this method, what they did, they cultured a bacteria E. coli in a light medium, that is the nitrogen medium, and obtained different bands in the density gradient using cesium chloride. Now, after culturing, these E. coli or the bacterial cells are transferred to a heavy atomic nitrogen medium for replication and at equilibrium obtain the density gradient band. So, there are bands which are produced in this process, in this technique, and there is a value of density gradient value of cesium chloride and nitrogen, that is the heavier nitrogen atom DNA is almost same. At that particular equilibrium, both the strands of DNA are labeled with nitrogen atoms. So now these E. coli cells transferred to the nitrogen medium and the bands are produced. At first generation a hybrid band and at second generation two bands are produced. So which proves that the position of the bands proves a semi-conservative nature of DNA, which means DNA replication takes place. So just we will study about the DNA replication process. As just now I told you, basing on this experiment, the semi-conservative nature of the DNA is proved. Semi-conservative, semi means partial, conservative means the previous or the parental character is preserved, right? Means half new and half old. Semi-conservative. So already Michelson and Stahl has proved by this equilibrium density gradient centrifugation technique. So basing on this technique, Watson and Crick, they have postulated a process or a mechanism to prove that semi-conservative replication takes place in DNA. Now, there are different steps of DNA replication. So in 1957, Watson and Crick, they followed Michelson and Stahl, and they processed or postulated the mechanism of DNA replication. So as you can see, the image here shows a fork or a inverted Y-shaped structure, because as we know, DNA is a double-stranded structure, and when replication begins, this semi-structure or this replicated structure looks like a inverted Y shape, because the two strands go far apart, breaking the bonds and slowly synthesizing a new strand, forming two daughter DNA. So from a single double-stranded DNA, we replicate or we produce two DNA by the process of semi-conservative replication. So this is how the structure of the DNA looks during the process of replication, and this structure is known as replication fork, and there are certain enzymes which are involved during the process of DNA replication. So the mechanism of replication, as I told, again consists of or occurs in the S phase and involves many enzymes like the DNA polymerase enzyme, and also some substrates like the DNTPs, and also energy. So with the help of all this, the replication process is carried out, and with the help of the production of leading strand and lagging strand during the process of replication, as I am going to explain you what is leading and lagging, we are going to study the replication mechanism. So before continuing with the replication mechanism, we will study the enzymes which are involved in the DNA replication. The helicase enzyme, which unwinds a portion of the DNA double helix. The SSB, that is the single-stranded DNA binding protein, which prevents the degradation, and base pair reannealment. Reannealment means attachment. So again they attach. So preventing the re-helicase, or you can say, as we know, DNA is double-stranded and both the strands are closely attached or bonded with each other. So the SSB protein helps to not to rebind, so that it will remain open and the process of replication will be easier. DNA polymerase 3 enzyme, which creates the leading strand. RNA primase, which creates the lagging strand. DNA polymerase 1 enzyme, which replaces the RNA primer. Exonucleases, DNA ligase, and nucleases. All these enzymes play a major role in the process of DNA replication. So as far the mechanism of the semi-conservative replication process, there are different steps of the mechanism, as we are going to study. The step 1. Step 1 is the initiation, or you can say just before the initiation, the nucleotides are activated. Now all of you know that there are 4 types of nitrogen bases. Now 4 types of nitrogen bases are DAMP, DGMP, DCMP and DTMP. All are in the form of monophosphates, and after activation by ATP in presence of the enzyme phosphorylase, all these nucleotides convert into triphosphates, that is deoxyadenosine triphosphate, deoxyguanine triphosphate, etc. That is monophosphate converts into triphosphates, which means the nucleotides are activated, and this process is known as phosphorylation. So before the initiation step, phosphorylation of the monophosphates or the nucleotides takes place. So all the nucleotides gets activated, and then the initiation point comes. initiation point is nothing but the origin point from where the replication occurs. Now prokaryotes have only one replicon and eukaryotes have several replicons in the tandem or in the sequence of the DNA. Now the second step is the replicating fork. Now as we know, the elongation step means as the initiation point from where the replication starts, unwinding of the two strands appear, so which forms a Y-shaped fork. As you can see here, this is the Y-shaped fork, and in the initial initial slide also I have shown you the inverted Y shape. Here you can see they are not twisted around each other and they are forming a Y shaped. Now because this is horizontal here, if it is vertical, you can see that it is forming an inverted Y shaped structure, and slowly the unwinding of the strands takes place with the help of the enzyme. Specifically, the superhelix relaxing enzyme helps in the unwinding of the two strands. Then the DNA polymerase enzyme, they add appropriate nucleotide to the new DNA strand in the 5' to 3' direction. That means the synthesis of new strands takes place. Now initially what happened? Initially nucleotides are activated, which is known as phosphorylation. Then occurs the initiation point, that is the point of origin from where the replication occurs. Then the replicating fork where the unwinding of the two strands appears, and DNA polymerase enzyme adds appropriate nucleotide to the new DNA strand in the 5' to 3' direction. Now in the previous lecture I have told you what is 5' to 3' or 3' to 5'. That is the number of carbon atom attachment in the adjacent nucleotides. So synthesis of the new strands takes place. Each strand acts as a template for the synthesis of new complementary strand. Now here you can see on the older strand is known as the template strand. A new strand is being synthesized which is complementary. Now what is complementary? Complementary means, as I have already told you, that adenine always pair with thymine. That means if here adenine is present, definitely the new strand will have thymine. If guanine is present on the old strand, then definitely on the new strand cytosine has to be there. Then only they will make a hydrogen bonding and there will be a base pairing. So this is known as complementary. So the old strand act as a template strand. Template means a base, and the new strand which is produced on the older strand is the complementary strand. And both will be complementary to each other so that there will be hydrogen bonds in between the nitrogen bases. And the nucleotides also have phosphodiester bonds between the adjacent nucleotides. So new strand always produces in the direction 5' to 3'. Then the leading and the lagging strand. As the synthesis of the new strand takes place, leading and lagging strand are the strand. Now the new strand synthesizing continuously towards the replicating fork. Now here you can see one is continuously replicating towards the replicating fork. This is known as the leading strand. And the other is developing discontinuously from the replicating fork is called lagging strand. So if it is continuously formed, it is known as leading, and the opposite one which is discontinuously formed is known as the lagging strand. Now the discontinuously produced lagging strand has small fragments known as Okazaki fragments. Now these fragments are joined by DNA ligase enzyme. RNA primers are removed by the DNA polymerase enzyme, and the DNA gyrase forms the double helix to form daughter DNA molecules. So the leading strands and the lagging strands are produced, and finally there are two daughter strands along with the leading strand, one daughter, along with the lagging strand, the other daughter DNA, which shows 50% new characters, that is, one is the newly synthesized strand, and 50% parental character, that is, the one is the older DNA strand, and therefore the formation of daughter DNA molecule shows semi-conservative replication. As you can see here, the Okazaki fragments here, which is the lagging strand, which is the newly synthesized one, and this is forming one daughter DNA, and this one has the leading strand which is continuously produced, and this is one of the DNA. So the single DNA unwinding and producing two daughter, and 50%, that is, one is strand is the parental strand and one is the newly synthesized strand. So that is why we call it as semi-conservative replication. So single DNA molecule slowly opens, unwinds and forms new strands and replicates itself. So this is known as semi-conservative replication. Thank you.